All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us again with 15 with Fallon. If this is the first time you've joined us, what we do here is we do short 15-minute phone calls with real estate agents such as yourself, and we go through updates in the industry, different loan products, loan scenarios, tips, tricks, strategies on how to close more business and be a rock star in the industry. So today, what we are talking about is the VA loan. Now, if you have been following along with us for the last few weeks, we've done calls on different loan types. We've covered conventional, we've covered FHA, we've covered USCA, and today we're going to talk about the VA loan. So this loan is very near and dear to our branch's heart. I'm in a military household. We have Danielle here. She is monitoring the chat. Danielle's husband is active special ops with the Navy. So let's just give her a little shout out. Thank you, Danielle, and your family for your service. And thank you, all of you on the call, that if you are from a military family or you are in the military or have been, we do appreciate what you do for us. So this loan type is very important for us as real estate professionals to know about, because we want to make sure we're taking care of these amazing men and women to the best of our abilities. So there's a lot of misconceptions with this loan type. So hopefully we can cover a few of those today, but I do want to start by saying this loan type has the most gray area, which is actually a good thing for your buyer. So you'll see me say, you know, there is no maximum, there's no specific minimum. And that's because honestly, for this loan type, there's a lot of factors that play into it. And we want to make sure that, you know, we're looking at everything, because even though maybe the DTI is a little bit higher than usual, there's sometimes a way to still make this work. So let's jump right in. Let me pull up my notes really quickly. All right, can everybody hear too? Again, put some notes in the comment box if you're here, you're listening. Let us know where you're listening from. We've got a nice little crowd today. So, okay, so some of the main benefits of the VA loan is the fact that it is 100% financing. That means that it is 0% down. This makes it very easy for our veterans to be able to get in a home, purchase one without coming out of pocket much. Now, can you put money down? This question has come up a lot, and absolutely, if the veteran would like to put a down payment, they are more than welcome to put that down payment, but it is not required. All right, some of the other fantastic benefits is that there is no loan maximum. So if you have your full eligibility and you qualify for that particular loan amount, then you are absolutely able to purchase in that loan range. So it does have some flexibility there. To keep that monthly note low, there is no mortgage insurance on a VA loan. And if you have not seen the video or the call that we did on mortgage insurance, go ahead and check that out at 15withfallon.com. Danielle, if you don't mind, if you could put that in the chat for us. There is a mortgage insurance video as well as the other loan type videos that I would recommend to go and check out so you can see how all those loan types stack up. Credit score. There's no minimum credit score that the VA puts up. They don't put a limit on it. Now, I will say this. The chances of getting an approval is going to be higher once the buyer, and I'm going to call them veterans, I'm going to call them buyers, but so we both know who we're talking about here. I do recommend that they would have at least a 580 credit score. Anything under that, you're looking at a manual underwrite, and the pricing is not going to be as good, because remember, the higher your credit score, the better the rate usually is. So if they can get to at least that point, their options are going to be a little bit more flexible and a little bit more open. Now, again, because there's some flexibility here, there is no max debt to income ratio for this. In fact, the VA loan focuses more on what's called residual income. So just to kind of give you an idea of the difference, the other loan types focus on debt to income ratio. That is taking your gross income and taking the debt that you pay, whether it's your house note, your credit card bills, car note, it takes that out and it gives you a ratio of how much is going to debt. With the VA loan, they're looking at what is the gross, take out the taxes. They're looking at the square footage of the house that you're purchasing. They're looking at the family size. What they're trying to do is they're trying to make sure that if you purchase that particular house, not only can you afford it, but you can also afford the living expenses, the maintenance, the utilities, everything that goes along with that home in that area. So it's actually a pretty great calculation for the VA, for the veteran, because they're not getting in over their head just based on a few numbers and not the big picture. So VA does focus on residual income, and that's why there really is no debt to income ratio limit. A really cool thing about the VA loan is that you're able to purchase a 1 to 4 unit property at 0% down. So as long as one of those units is going to be the borrower's primary residence, they're able to get in with 0% down and rent out the other units and collect income from this. So this is very, very beneficial to your buyers. So make sure that's brought up, because I think a lot of times they may believe that they're, just looking for a primary residence, and there's some income to be made here, especially if you have one of the investment minded buyer that's really looking to grow their portfolio eventually. With the VA loan, there are a lot of very common misconceptions. So we're going to knock a few of those out right now. Believe it or not, there are a lot of people who qualify for this loan that don't actually know that they qualify for it. A great example of that is National Guard. I've had this situation before where we've had someone in the National Guard apply and they immediately said, no, I won't qualify for that because I'm not one of the other branches. And that is not true. We were able to get them qualified for a VA loan. So there are a lot of factors that go into is it time limit that qualifies, the different branches, is it active duty, or are they a surviving spouse, which, by the way, surviving spouses can sometimes qualify for the VA loan too. A lot of people don't know that. So what you would want to do is, as soon as you have that buyer that starts looking, you want to make sure that they're talking to a lender that is familiar with the VA loan and that can help them out, because sometimes if you're not asking the right questions, you don't know that you actually can qualify. Also, the VA loan does not expire. So there have been veterans that will say, yeah, well, I used my VA loan back in, 1987. So I've already used it. I'm going to have to go a different route. Also not true. You can get multiple VA loans. You can, get 20 VA loans in a lifetime. Plus, there's no limit on it. What the VA loan looks at is your eligibility. So basically, you can actually have a VA loan currently and want to upgrade, want to move, and keep the VA loan that you have, as long as you have enough eligibility to purchase the next house with a VA loan as well. And that is more common than you think. So now you're able to keep the property you're living in now and rent that one out. So that comes down to the amount of eligibility that the buyer has left. Again, have a lender look at that so they know exactly what their options are. They do not need to sell that property in order to purchase another one, and they do not need to go conventionally or with another loan type. So again, bear that in mind. Make sure that you are passing on that information, because even the veterans themselves sometimes do not know this. Now, one of the things I hear all the time is, oh, the VA appraisals, they always come in low. And that's actually not the case at all. The VA does look at very specific list of things with the appraisal, but so does USDA and FHA. They're all looking at the fact that they want the house to be safe. They want it to be stable. They want it to be basically move-in ready. So, as long as the property is all of those things, then you really shouldn't have a problem. The one thing VA does take, one of the things that they take very, very strongly into account is peeling paint. If you're seeing peeling paint, make sure it's taken care of. If you're seeing, exposed wires or outlets without plate covers, those are the kind of things that usually end up triggering some kind of alert. And there are others, but those are small things that you as an agent can jump in front of before that VA appraiser goes out there. So as far as the value goes, that's not the fact that, you hear that VA loans come in lower. That is not true. They're using the exact same comps as any other loan type. But I will tell you what's very, very cool about the VA loan is, let's say that appraiser goes out and they're not getting the value that, you're saying that there is. Instead of just putting that report together and sending it out and having it come in low, like every other loan type, the VA appraiser will actually reach out to you as an agent and say, look, I'm coming in short. Show me what you're looking at. Show me the comps that you're looking at. And that gives you a chance to basically rebuttal and show the appraiser what you're seeing and how you got those numbers. No other loan type is gonna do that. So there actually is some benefits to doing a VA loan with a VA appraisal. Now, in Louisiana is one of the many states that does require a WDIR for a VA loan. But here in Louisiana, I would say that most of you probably recommend getting a termite inspection anyway for any of your buyers. So obviously, if there is any active or destruction from termite infestation, that's something that you would definitely need to take care of, because it will cause an issue for the VA appraisal or the VA approval. Now, if for whatever reason you do run into a situation where maybe the seller's not willing to do any repairs and the VA is saying that these things need to be done, what is an option is doing a VA renovation loan, where you'd actually be able to work in some of those repairs into the loan. And that way the buyer can still purchase that house and make those repairs after closing. So if you have questions about a renovation loan, please let me know. But again, how fantastic is it that you can actually purchase a home? It doesn't have to be just repairs. It could be renovations. Maybe your buyer says, I really like this area, I like this school district, but the kitchen has got to go. Well, you know that you have a VA renovation loan option that they would be able to still get in that house, not come out of pocket with a down payment, and finance in a complete kitchen renovation. So again, if you have questions about that, that's a whole nother call in itself, but let me know and we can talk through it. So again, another thing that we hear it all the time is, oh, VA, they're stricter, or they're I have a VA offer and I have a conventional offer, and I'm telling my seller to definitely go with the conventional because the VA is usually less qualified. Not the case. I'd really like for us to change the mindset here. These men and women, yes, they are possibly putting 0% down, but it doesn't make them any less qualified. In fact, the VA has more flexible guidelines. So there's a really good chance that, and I'm saying this is as an example, but a conventional loan can fall apart easier than a VA loan in most cases, because conventional has those black and white numbers that you must meet. And VA will say, well, this might not work out here, but I'm looking at this, this, and this, which are positive factors. So we can go ahead and get that approved. So don't see a VA offer come in and say, no, it's probably a risky move. It's not at all. Okay. Now, so we've covered a lot of the different misconceptions. We've covered some of the benefits. So if I had to talk about what would be the cons of doing a VA loan, it's very, very limited. But what I would say is one of them is obviously it does have to be your primary residence. So the buyer must be scheduled or anticipating to move in within a certain period of time. With the VA loan, there's a little bit different of rules here because, sometimes that buyer may be deployed, they may be out of the country. However, a spouse or family member is able to move in within I think it's a 60-day period of time after closing, and that is completely fine by the VA. It doesn't have to be your primary. They do not allow for non-occupying co-borrowers. So if you are going to be a co-borrower on the loan, you do have to intend to live there. You can't just be a dad or a child of the buyer and expect to live in a different home. And then there is a funding fee. So there's no monthly mortgage insurance, but there is a funding fee that is required for a VA loan. And that amount does differ. So let's just take, for example, if this is the first time your buyer has used the VA loan and they're putting 0% down, they would finance in a 2.15% funding fee. And again, this is not something they have to come out of pocket with. They would finance that into the loan and pay that down. So if we're looking at a possible con, yes, there is a funding fee, and that helps guarantee the loan with the government-backed loan. Now, there are some caveats to this. For example, if you are retired or separated military with that has been granted disability, this funding fee is waived. So there are differences on who qualifies for what, when's their funding fee, how much that funding fee is. If the buyer puts, 5% down, that funding fee is lower. So there's a lot of moving parts here, but all in all, it is a fantastic loan program. It does allow for seller concessions. So the seller can actually pay for any closing costs. It's a 0% down loan. So the veteran actually does not have to come to the table with anything in most cases. So that kind of wraps up. And I know that I am getting a little bit, I'm went a little bit over. Danielle, is there anything that I should cover or that I need to explain a little bit better before we get off the call today?
I think you did a great job.
Thank you, Danielle.
I don't see any questions. They all must be listening intently, but I will just reiterate the more than one VA loan, because I know in the military community, so many families that are moving every 3 years that will keep their home. Like, for instance, we moved from Virginia Beach and we kept our home there and rented it out for years because that's a military town and it's super easy to rent out and make money on. And I know multiple friends that have done that. So just to remind people, as people are moving in and out of the state and moving around, that that's an option, and it's an income opportunity for military that they don't pay us enough. So
Absolutely. I'm glad that you said that again, because it is really so important. And for you guys, just make sure your buyers are working with someone who is very familiar with the VA loan. There are a lot of lenders out there that claim that they specialize in VA, and they don't necessarily do that. There are a lot of lenders that have many overlays. So if you had a buyer that was told by a lender that they do not qualify for a VA loan, but all signs point to that maybe they can, have them get a second opinion, because again, sometimes these lenders have these overlays that may not allow for it, but that's not the VA rule. It's just a lender rule. And I also would like to bring up too, one of the things that we're very proud of here at Movement is that we love our veterans. We're very veteran and VA focused. We actually do not charge any lender fees on a VA loan. So right there, that is a huge savings for the veteran, because we want to make sure that they're taken care of. So again, I know this is a lot of information, and it's not meaning for you to be able to be an underwriter on a VA loan or be able to approve someone, but it's to give you enough knowledge to know possibly what questions to ask, or at least get them to the right person and make sure that they have all the options that they deserve. So without taking up any more of your time tonight, this morning, it's already been a long day. Without taking up any more of your time this morning, I wish y'all a fantastic day. God bless and good luck. God bless America.
Bye.
Bye-bye.